Hi, it's Crimson here. This is a sample of a presentation that I might give to a principal in my school district talking about why it's important to have the library and what I can bring to the table. Alright, the role of the librarian. One of the biggest roles of the librarians is that we are research specialists. So not only are we there to help with lesson planning and stuff like that, we can also help students to find their own lesson, like find their own interests and all of that kind of stuff. Librarians also teach the teachers. We stay up to date on technology. We stay up to date on materials in the library. We can help with lesson planning, with creating pathfinders to assist in student research projects, all kinds of different things. We're also technology and literature specialists. Technology is really important in schools nowadays. A lot of people can bring their own device. They can do all kinds of stuff. But even the ones who can't bring their own device need access to some form of computer, which you can generally find in the library. And being a literature specialist, we can help with classes. We can help with just things that students want to read for fun, anything like that. Okay, another important thing that happens in the library is that we meet the needs of all students. We don't just meet the needs of some students. So many libraries now have alternative materials. We don't just include the standard, what you would walk into a bookstore and expect to find. There are also large print books. There are braille books. There are audio books. There are all kinds of alternative materials for students who can't just pick up a book and read. We also have more access to technology. This is good because some students, if there is a bring your own device program, some students can't afford that. And some schools don't allow bring your own device, and so we have access to the computers and all of that through the library. However, meeting the needs of all students, we have to have appropriately trained staff, so we have to have staff that know about the different needs in our school district and how to handle those. What also needs to be included is we need to have an accessible space. And the way that we would do that is to widen lanes, make ramps if they're needed, just make sure that all materials can be accessed by all students no matter what their abilities are. Alright, the library versus the learning center. A library is kind of an outdated term anymore. Most people prefer to call school libraries learning centers because we aren't just there to help you check out books and leave. We do all kinds of things. One main thing about a library versus a learning center is the different types of study spaces. We have both quiet and unquiet study spaces. Unquiet doesn't mean loud. It just means that it's a space where students can get together and collaborate with each other. We can utilize comfy armchairs or tables and chairs to kind of give students where they're most comfortable studying. Some students like to be sitting firmly in a chair with a table in front of them, and some students like to lean back a little bit, maybe put their feet underneath of them or something like that and kind of curl up in an armchair to study, and it's just what's comfortable to them and what makes it easier for them to study. Another thing that a lot of learning centers are starting to bring in is experience stations. To do this, basically, the library becomes an extension of the classroom, and it becomes an extension of the classroom lessons, and so teachers can bring students into the library, and we can have book stations set up. We can have tactile stations set up. The library generally just affords more space to do that, and so that's how it kind of becomes more of a learning center than the traditional library you think of. A library versus learning center. The learning center is also a welcome space for all students and all educators. Library, once again, seems kind of outdated just for the ideas that are being brought into these new learning centers in schools where everybody can come learn something new. The students can come and find exactly what they need to help them with classes, and educators can come in and find new ways to teach. They can talk to librarians and have them help plan out lesson plans and just expand their knowledge. as well as coming in and learning about the new technologies that are available for them to use in their own classrooms. Technology, like I said before, it's a big deal in libraries and in schools nowadays. The library really needs to provide this technology for all students. And in order to do that, we have to make sure that it's up to date. We can't be using stuff that came out 20 years ago because, frankly, it's just obsolete now. We have to have up-to-date technology. We also have to be able to teach our teachers how to use this new technology. Librarians shouldn't be the be-all, end-all of technology knowledge. We should be able to teach the teachers how to use that technology and how to utilize it in their classrooms to make their teaching better. We also need to have a clear procedure on how to repair technology. Since it is so important, everybody has to know who they need to talk to if their computer breaks down. This projector doesn't work. How do I get it fixed? There needs to be a clear procedure on how to do that. We also need to make sure that we have technology available for both student and teacher use. I don't think that students should be the only one allowed to come into the school's library and utilize what the library has to offer. Schools aren't just for students, they're also for teachers, and so the library should also be for teachers, especially with all of this new technology. Teachers have to be up to date on it just as much as students have to keep up with it, and just as much as librarians have to know what's going on. It's also important to have computer labs and technology labs that are available for both group and single study time. That way teachers can reserve a lab for a whole class and have somewhere to bring them so that they can all access technology at the same time. But students also need to have access to either smaller labs or open study times in these labs so that they can get work done that they weren't previously able to do either in class or that is an outside class project and they don't have time to do it at home or they need a little extra help with it. All kinds of things can be done in the technology department as far as libraries and librarians go. And there's my reference page. Thanks so much for tuning in.